Welcome back to Engineering Out Loud. We're cranking things up another notch with MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program. And let me tell you, we don't mess around with quality. We're ISO certified. This is episode 3 of our ISO Standards training series. So if you're just joining us now, no worries. Swing by mechesolco.com/CPD to catch up on the first couple of episodes. Today, we're diving headfirst into the heart of quality management, ISO 9001, 2015 clauses.
It's a bit of a mouthful, I'll admit.
Yeah, not exactly something you'd shout from the rooftops.
But it's the backbone of so many quality management systems out there. Seriously, it's a big deal.
So, less about the name, more at the game then. What's the big deal with these clauses? Why should our listeners, especially those who are already familiar with ISO, care about what this standard has to say?
Imagine, right, you're building a house. You wouldn't just start slapping bricks together, would you?
Definitely not. I'd probably forget the windows and doors.
Exactly. You need a blueprint. And that's what ISO 9001-2015 is. It's your quality management blueprint. Each clause, think of it as a section of that blueprint. It outlines the requirements, the best practices, everything you need to know to build a solid quality management system.
Okay, so it's like a structured framework. But what does that actually look like? What do we talk about when we say clauses?
So imagine the standards like a toolbox, right?
Okay, I like where this is going.
10 compartments in this toolbox, each one holding a specific tool that's your clause.
Got it.
Clause 1, the very first one, that's your scope tool. This one tells you what the standard's all about, who it applies to, the whole shebang.
Setting the scene, making sure everyone's on the same page right from the get-go.
100%. It really emphasizes that ISO 2015, it's all about building a customer-focused quality management system.
Customer-focused music to my ears. So what's next in our trusty toolbox?
Next up, we've got a two-parter. Clauses 2 and 3, think of them as your roadmap in the dictionary.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Roadmap and dictionary.
Right, so clause 2, that's your roadmap. It points you to other important documents, specifically ISO 9000, that's your dictionary. This one's crucial. It helps you decode all the technical jargon. And then clause 3 swoops in and defines all those key terms that are used within ISO 9001-2015.
So no more pretending to understand jargon in meetings. We're all speaking the same language now.
You got it. Clarity and consistency, that's the name of the game. These clauses make sure everyone's on the same page when it comes to quality management. No more misinterpretations or crossed wires.
I can get behind that. So we've got our scope, our roadmap, our dictionary. Feeling pretty prepared. What's next on our ISO adventure?
Now we're getting into the real nitty-gritty. Clause 4, the context of the organization tool.
Sounds pretty self-explanatory. But what does it actually mean for an organization to define its context like this?
It's about taking a step back, really understanding those internal and external factors that can influence your quality management system. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What's happening in the market? Are there any new technologies or regulations on the horizon?
So it's not just about having a quality management system. It's about making sure it's the right one for your specific organization and context.
You hit the nail on the head. A system that works for, say, a tech startup might not be the best fit for a manufacturing giant. Clause 4 is all about recognizing that context is king.
That makes sense. So understanding your context is crucial for building a quality management system that actually works. Speaking of things that work or don't, what happens if a company just ignores Clause 4? Any real-world cautionary tales come to mind?
Oh, I've seen it happen. There was this one company so focused on its internal processes, they completely missed a major shift in customer preferences.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because they weren't analyzing the external context, their product became obsolete practically overnight.
Ouch. Talk about a hard lesson to learn.
It just goes to show why Clause 4 is so important. You can't operate in a bubble. You need to understand the environment you're operating in, both inside and out.
Context is king. Noted. So, we've laid the groundwork, but even with the best blueprint, you need the right people to build the house. Which brings us to Clause 5, leadership. But before we unpack that, I want to remind everyone that if you're looking for ways to level up your own leadership skills, head over to mechesolco.com/CPD. You'll find a whole suite of resources designed to help you excel.
It's true. Leadership is everything. You can have the most fantastic quality management system in the world, but without strong leadership.
It's dead in the water.
Exactly. And that's why ISO 9001-2015 dedicates an entire clause to it. Clause 5 really digs into leadership taking charge of quality management. It's about setting that example, empowering your people and really creating a culture where quality is everyone's responsibility.
So no pressure, leaders.
Yeah.
But seriously, it makes sense that leadership buy-in is crucial. You can have the best plan in the world, but if it's not coming from the top,
It's going to fall flat. This clause really drives home that leaders need to walk the walk. It's not enough to just talk the talk, they got to live it.
leading by example, I like it. So we've got our blueprint, we've got our A-team, we've got strong leadership. What's next in our trusty ISO 9001 2015 toolbox?
Time to roll up our sleeves and get into some planning and support. Clauses 6 and 7, they're all about prepping the runway for a killer quality management system. Clause 6, that's planning, that's all about thinking ahead, scoping out those risks and opportunities, and figuring out how to tackle them head on.
So like strategizing, making sure you're ready for whatever life throws your way.
Exactly. It's all about anticipating those challenges and having a solid plan in place. Clause 6, it also highlights those quality objectives, gotta have them, measurable, achievable goals that line up with that overall quality policy.
Okay, so it's not just about saying, hey, we want to be good at quality. You're defining what good actually means and how you're going to nail it.
Bingo. But a plan's only as good as the support system backing it up, right? That's where Clause 7 swoops in to save the day.
So we're talking about having the right people, the right resources, the whole infrastructure set up to really execute that plan flawlessly.
You got it. This includes everything from giving employees top-notch training to having the latest tech and equipment.
It's about setting your team up for success, making sure they've got all the tools they need to absolutely crush it.
Absolutely. And don't forget communication, that's huge in Clause 7. Everyone needs to be in the loop, know the quality policy inside and out, understand their role, and know those requirements like the back of their hand.
Okay, so we're talking regular check-ins, clear communication channels, no one's left in the dark.
You got it. And last but not least, Clause 7 reminds us that documentation is king. Everything needs to be documented, controlled, and easy to find.
So no more scribbling things down on sticky notes and hoping for the best.
Not if you want a quality management system that's built to last. You need a clear record of all your processes, your procedures, any tweaks you make along the way.
Makes sense. You've got to be able to track your progress and prove you're meeting those standards. So to recap, Clause 6, it's like meticulously planning your road trip to Qualityville, and Clause 7 is making sure you've got the right ride and supplies for the journey. But what happens when you actually hit the road?
That's when things get real. We're shifting gears and diving to Clause 8 operation. This is where the magic happens.
Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Clause 8, let's take a quick timeout. Listeners, if you're digging this deep dive and you're hungry for more quality management gold, head on over to mechesoco.com/CPD. We've got a treasure trove of resources just waiting for you. Now back to the show. Clause 8, what's the deal with operations?
This clause, it's all about the how-to. How do you actually design, develop, and deliver those amazing products and services, all while hitting those sky-high quality standards?
So it's taking all those plans, all those processes we've been talking about, and actually making them happen.
You got it. It covers everything, managing customer communication, keeping those production processes in check, handling those non-conforming outputs.
Non-conforming outputs, that sounds kind of like a fancy way of saying, oops, something went wrong.
You could say that. Basically, it's anything that doesn't quite hit the mark, doesn't meet those requirements. Could be a product that's not quite right, an issue with a service, even a tiny error in a document.
Nobody's perfect, right? Things happen. But it's how you handle those situations that really matters.
100%. Clause 8 really stresses how important it is to have a system for catching those non-conforming outputs quickly and getting things back on track. That means figuring out why the problem happened in the first place, fixing it, and making sure it doesn't rear its ugly head again.
So it's like turning those lemons into lemonade, right? Using those hiccups as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. Because let's face it, even with the best intentions and processes, sometimes things go sideways. It's all about how you bounce back.
It's that whole continuous improvement mindset. Speaking of which, that seems like a perfect segue into Clause 9. Performance evaluation. We've got our systems in place, things are humming along, but how do we know if they're actually working the way they should be?
Clause 9 to the rescue. This one's all about setting up a system to double-check your work. How's that quality management system performing? Any areas for improvement? Time to find out.
So you're basically evaluating the evaluator.
You could say that. It's about taking a step back and asking, are we actually doing what we said we would do? And are we doing it well?
Makes sense. I have a feeling data plays a big role here.
Absolutely. Clause 9 is all about data, data, data. Collecting it, analyzing it, all those juicy insights into how well your quality management system is functioning. We're talking customer satisfaction, internal audit results, how those processes are performing, even info about any non-conformities that popped up.
Okay, so you're gathering all this data, but then what?
That's where the real fun begins. It's time to analyze. You use that data to really understand what's working, what's not working, spot any trends, and pinpoint those areas where you can really shine.
Data-driven improvement, I'm all about it. But it can't just be about crunching numbers, right? There's got to be a human element to all of this.
Absolutely. Data's great, but it's got to be more than numbers on a screen, right? That's where those management reviews come in, key part of Clause 9. This is where the folks at the top, they step in, take a look at the big picture. How's that quality management system really performing?
So it's not just about the data itself. It's about having those high-level conversations, making sure quality is aligned with the organization's overall strategy.
Exactly. Management reviews, they keep everyone on the same page, rowing in the same direction, looking at the data, those audit results, what are the customers saying, how are those improvement initiatives coming along? They cover it all.
A full 360-degree checkup for that quality management system. I like it.
That's it. And it's not about pointing fingers when something's not working. It's about celebrating those wins, those things that are clicking, and figuring out how to do more of that.
Always be improving, right?
Always.
Which brings us to our final clause, drum roll, please, clause 10, improvement. This one sounds like it's all about embracing that growth mindset. No, you can always level up, even when things are going great.
Nailed it. Clause 10, it's all about fostering that culture of continuous improvement, realizing that no matter how good your quality management system is today, there's always room to make it even better tomorrow.
So don't get complacent, right? Always keep pushing those boundaries. But how does ISO 9001-2015 actually turn that idea, that mindset, into action?
It starts with being proactive. Clause 10, it really encourages organizations to go out there, look for those opportunities to step up their game. Could be boosting customer satisfaction, streamlining those processes, even making the quality management system itself even more efficient. The sky's the limit.
Right.
And remember all that data we talked about in Clause 9? Well, here's where it really shines.
Right. So you're using those insights to make those strategic decisions. No more shots in the dark when it comes to improvement.
You got it. But Clause 10 also acknowledges that sometimes things don't go exactly as planned. It helps you out with figuring out what to do when those nonconformities pop up, how to take corrective action.
Because let's face it, we're all human, right? Mistakes happen. It's about learning from them and coming back stronger.
Exactly. It's about having that clear, consistent process for getting to the bottom of a problem and making sure it doesn't happen again.
No more Band-Aid solutions. We're talking about digging deep and finding lasting solutions.
100%. It's about turning those bumps in the road into opportunities for growth and improvement.
That's the spirit. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of ISO 9001-2015 clauses, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
Quality management, it's not about checking boxes. It's about going on a journey. It's that ongoing commitment to being better, adapting, and putting your customers first. When you understand these 10 clauses and really weave them into how you do business, you're building a quality management system that can weather any storm.
It's about making quality part of your DNA, not just another hoop to jump through. And listeners, if you're ready to gear up for your own quality management adventure, don't forget to check out the amazing resources over at MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program. You can find them at mechesolco.com/CPD.
Seriously, it's a gold mine of information whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned quality pro.
Couldn't agree more. We've covered a ton today, but hopefully you've walked away with a clear understanding of ISO 9001-2015 clauses and why they're so important. Until next time, keep those quality gears turning.